I think it's important to not fall into the trap of conditionally loving yourself and understand that whether you do something big or whether you do something small or whether you do nothing at all, you still deserve your love and you still deserve to be cared for from yourself. And I think that it's important to understand that you are worthy of your love no matter what you show up as or what you've done in your past. It's okay to be there for yourself and forgive yourself, and understanding that forgiving yourself is changing as well. And I think that it's important to understand that when it comes to being able to forgive yourself, it's about understanding that you put effort towards changing, but also compassion to yourself to understand that you won't do it. You won't be able to do it in a day or a week or a month sometimes. Like sometimes it doesn't happen instantly where you just automatically understand how to be, better for yourself or how to be healthier for yourself or others. But through the whole process, you can completely love yourself. Through the whole process, you deserve your love no matter what space. I think it's important to understand to not put love, put unconditional love in whether or not you are the so-called best version of yourself in the same category. I think it's important to understand to love yourself at your lowest and at your best. I think it's important to give yourself that space and that understanding that you are human and that it's okay to be down sometimes and it's okay to not be perfect in order for you to love yourself. And I think it's important if you have that dynamic with yourself to understand why you have that dynamic with yourself. And I think it's important to understand that sometimes you have to look back into your past and sometimes you have to understand your dynamic with the people in your life that you felt like should have shown up for you differently or should have unconditionally loved you. And I think it's important to break that cycle within yourself and love yourself no matter what, and not follow that tradition that people had with you in the past, or not follow that unhealthy connection with yourself when it comes to loving yourself, because you don't have to be the most talented or the most beautiful or the most successful person in order to deserve your love. You deserve your love no matter what you showed up as in the past, no matter who you show up as today. You deserve your love and your compassion. And I think it's important to understand that if you feel like there's a space in your life that you need to show up differently in, you can still love yourself and have grace for yourself until you get to the point that you deem as successful or you deem as healthy, and I think that's important to understand when it comes to self-love and unconditionally loving yourself. You can love yourself no matter if you're the biggest or the smartest or whatever the case may be. It's okay to love yourself and have compassion for yourself and forgive yourself. It's okay to hold space for yourself to mess up sometimes, because you're not you're not perfect and you're only human at the end of the day. But it's important not to give yourself excuses for being something that is harmful or hurtful towards yourself or others. But in that same space, it's okay to have compassion for yourself and love yourself and be there for yourself no matter what. And I think that's important to understand. And if you didn't get that as a child, where your mom or your dad or whoever raised you or whoever was in your vicinity or in your space, if they weren't showing up for you and loving you no matter what you did, in a space of showing you that they loved you and still letting you know that whether you showed up as the best version of you or not, they would still, love you and not completely, crucify you or completely judge you. I think it's important to show up for yourself is that now in a space of understanding that to give yourself grace and space to be a human and to mess up sometimes, and to check yourself with love when you do mess up, being able to be there for yourself and check yourself with compassion and say, hey, okay, if you did mess up or whatever the case may be or hurt somebody, just understanding to give yourself compassion and be able to say, okay, if I did mess up, just apologize to that person, but I don't have to crucify myself and say I don't deserve my love or I don't deserve to hold space for myself, to love myself. I think it's important to check yourself with love and check yourself with compassion and understand that that is the only way that you will be able to change, because holding hate in your heart for yourself or others is not going to help you change. It's just going to block you off to what you should have been giving yourself in the first place, and what may have put you in that position to hurt that person in the first place or to hurt yourself in the first place. So I think that's important to understand.